What happens when those with the biggest hearts, those who give without expecting, reach their breaking point? You, the ones who see potential where others see flaws, who put yourselves last to uplift others, find yourselves taken advantage of by those who lack true empathy. Your generosity is mistaken for weakness, your kindness exploited by those who think you'll never walk away. But when you finally stop giving, the ripple effect is profound. Suddenly those who underestimated your strength and resolve are left scrambling, blindsided by the absence of someone they thought they could control. As someone who's naturally empathetic and selfless, you may often find yourself in a cycle of giving without end. In friendships, relationships, or family bonds, you're the first to reach out, to lend a hand, to support without asking for anything in return. Your actions come from a place of genuine care and a desire to uplift those around you. But as you continue to pour love and energy into others, you start to notice a troubling pattern. The reciprocity you yearn for remains elusive. The more you give, the more others expect, leaving you to carry an unequal emotional load. Yet even as you sense this imbalance, you hesitate to speak up. You worry about hurting feelings or triggering conflict, so you suppress your own discomfort and carry on, convincing yourself that your role is to serve and uplift. You tell yourself it's okay if you don't receive the same level of care, as long as you can keep others happy. Your heart, so full of kindness, leads you to brush off every slight, every moment of neglect, all in the name of peace. Deep down, you hope your patience will be rewarded, that one day those around you will realize just how much you've given. But over time, the toll of this unreciprocated effort grows. You begin to feel drained, your spirit dulled by the constant demands and lack of appreciation. Every ignored message, every broken promise becomes a small wound, slowly chipping away at your sense of self-worth. And yet you still hold on, believing that love and friendship are meant to be sacrifices, convinced that if you just keep giving, things will eventually change. It's not that you're blind to the inequity. You see it clearly. But your compassionate nature makes it difficult to pull back or set boundaries. You fear being perceived as selfish or uncaring, so you push your needs aside and keep pouring from an increasingly empty cup. In your mind, love means going the extra mile, showing up, even when the road only runs one way. This dynamic is often rooted in your past, where perhaps you learned to equate self-worth with selflessness. You may have been taught that your value lies in how much you can do for others, how willing you are to sacrifice your own happiness. It's a deeply ingrained belief, one that has shaped your relationships and interactions for years. Breaking free from this mindset feels almost impossible, like you'd be betraying a core part of yourself. And so, you stay, tolerating the imbalances, excusing others' neglect, all while slowly fading in your own life. You start to feel like a ghost in your own story, always present but never truly seen or valued. Your needs become an afterthought, your happiness secondary to everyone else's. It's a painful existence, but one you've convinced yourself is noble, even necessary. In moments of self-reflection, you wonder if this is really all there is, if relationships are supposed to be this one-sided. As you continue in this cycle of giving without receiving, you begin to recognize how much of your energy is being depleted, impacting your mental and emotional well-being. This realization brings with it a painful acknowledgement that perhaps the problem isn't your effort, but the unwillingness of others to reciprocate. It becomes clear that no amount of kindness or sacrifice will change the fundamental nature of these one-sided relationships, and this awareness plants the first seeds of a deep, quiet determination to break free from the cycle. When you encounter a manipulative partner, it's a dynamic that's both exhilarating and toxic. The manipulator is often charming, with a magnetic personality that draws people in with ease. They know exactly what to say and how to say it, crafting an image of themselves that seems irresistible. At first, you feel seen and valued in ways you've never experienced before. This partner, with all their charisma and allure, seems like a dream come true, offering the kind of attention that's been missing in your life. But beneath the charm lies a darker reality. The manipulative partner is not interested in true connection. They are driven by control and self-interest. They've spotted your kindness and vulnerability, recognizing it as an opportunity to satisfy their own needs. From the beginning, every compliment, every grand gesture, is part of a carefully crafted plan to create dependence. They want you to feel indebted, to crave their approval and presence, to remain emotionally bound. As the relationship progresses, the manipulative partner begins to reveal their true colors. Subtly, they start to shift blame, to play mind games that leave you questioning yourself. When issues arise, they deflect responsibility, making you feel as though you're always in the wrong. It's a psychological tactic meant to undermine your confidence, to create a sense of insecurity that keeps you tied down. Being empathetic by nature, you take on this burden, convinced that you need to work harder to keep the peace. Meanwhile, the manipulator maintains control, pulling strings from behind the scenes. They know you're unlikely to leave, and they exploit this loyalty, pushing boundaries further with each passing day. They use guilt as a weapon, making you feel selfish for even thinking of stepping back. This emotional manipulation is designed to keep you anchored, to make you believe that leaving would be a betrayal. Over time, this relationship erodes your sense of self. You start to believe the manipulator's version of events, internalizing the blame, the guilt, the constant feeling of not enough. It's a slow, painful decline, one that chips away at your confidence and leaves you feeling like a shadow of who you once were. In the end, you come to realize that this relationship was never about love or partnership. It was about control. The manipulative partner's tactics often extend beyond emotional manipulation, spilling into subtle control over your social life, decisions, and even your sense of identity. Through constant judgment, backhanded compliments, or guilt-tripping, the manipulator begins to isolate you, making you feel dependent and increasingly alone. Friends and family who once provided support are pushed away, leaving you with fewer connections to reality outside of the relationship. The partner thrives on this isolation, knowing that with fewer outside influences, you're more likely to tolerate their behavior. This insidious layer of control is masked as care or concern, making it even harder for you to see the truth until the damage is already done. I've walked this road myself, through the darkness of subtle control and the long journey of reclaiming my strength. Breaking free was my greatest triumph, a victory over the forces that tried to keep me small. And this victory led me to create something powerful, Obsidian Inner Order, powered by Astral Atom. It's more than just a community. It's a sanctuary for those who know what it's like to be pulled away from their true selves and who are ready to return stronger than ever. In Obsidian Inner Order, you'll find others who've endured the insidious grip of manipulation, who have walked through the fire and emerged with a clarity and strength that only those who face the shadows can understand. We're here to support one another in rebuilding our identities, grounding ourselves in our true power, and shedding the weight of the past. Join us if you're ready to step fully back into your power, to shed the layers of manipulation, and to find a circle that understands your journey to the core. Together, we're reclaiming the lives, the joy, and the strength that were always meant to be ours. Let's rise, united in resilience, to become the truest versions of ourselves. The link is in the description below. The moment of awakening for you is a powerful and transformative experience. After years of giving without receiving, of sacrificing your own happiness for the sake of others, you reach a breaking point. It's often triggered by a single event, a final straw that brings your entire reality into focus. You realize with painful clarity that you've been pouring into relationships that only drain you, and that it's time to reclaim your life. For many, this revelation doesn't come easily. You may have been conditioned to believe that your worth is tied to your ability to serve and support others. Breaking free from this mindset feels like a betrayal of everything you've held dear. But as you sit with this newfound awareness, you begin to see the truth. You deserve relationships that honor your worth, that reciprocate your love and care. In this moment of clarity, you start to question everything. You reevaluate your past relationships, analyzing the patterns that have kept you stuck. You see how you've been drawn to people who take advantage of your kindness, who manipulate your empathy for personal gain. It's a painful realization, but also a liberating one. You begin to understand that love doesn't have to mean sacrifice, that true connection is built on mutual respect and support. With this new perspective, you make a choice to honor yourself, to set boundaries, and to demand reciprocity. It's a decision that feels both empowering and terrifying. You worry about how others will react, about the backlash you might face for daring to prioritize yourself. But you also feel a sense of freedom, a weight lifting as you step into your own power. Breaking free from the cycle of people-pleasing is a journey, one that requires courage and resilience. You start to practice saying no, to hold firm in your boundaries, even when it feels uncomfortable. You learn that self-respect is not selfishness, that you have a right to protect your peace. It's a radical shift, one that changes how you see yourself and the world around you. As you begin to detach from toxic relationships, you discover a newfound strength. You no longer feel obligated to please everyone, to bend over backward for people who don't value you. This freedom allows you to reconnect with your own needs, to prioritize your own well-being. You start to focus on your goals, your dreams, and the relationships that truly enrich your life. As you take steps to break free, you experience moments of doubt and fear, wondering if you're making the right choice. The thought of walking away from long-standing relationships feels daunting, even heartbreaking, yet you sense that true freedom lies on the other side of this decision. Each small step toward independence is both an act of defiance and self-love, strengthening your resolve. You realize that breaking free isn't just about leaving toxic relationships. It's about redefining what love and connection truly mean. You begin to understand that real love doesn't demand endless sacrifice, but thrives on balance, mutual respect, and joy. This redefined perspective fuels your journey forward, providing a vision of the fulfilling relationships that await you. When you make the choice to step away, you find yourself at the beginning of a new journey, one focused on self-worth and setting boundaries. It's a road you haven't walked before, one that feels both empowering and foreign. Setting boundaries is something you've rarely practiced, having always placed others' needs above your own. But now you realize that boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're a means to protect your peace and preserve your energy for those who genuinely care. Learning to say no is one of the most challenging parts of this transformation. For so long, you may have been conditioned to be a yes person, to meet others' needs without question. But as you start saying no, you discover an unexpected sense of freedom. It's a word that allows you to reclaim your time, to focus on your own well-being rather than constantly serving others. With each no, you're reminded that your worth isn't tied to how much you give. It's inherent, unchanging, and deserves respect. This newfound self-respect changes how you interact with others. Where you once tolerated neglect or disrespect, you now expect reciprocity and kindness. You no longer settle for connections that drain you, recognizing that real relationships are built on mutual respect. Your tolerance for manipulation, for guilt trips and empty promises, diminishes. The people in your life are no longer chosen out of convenience, but out of genuine respect and value. For you, this shift is a revelation. You begin to see yourself in a new light, realizing that you are just as deserving of care and compassion as anyone else. You start practicing self-care, engaging in activities that nurture your own spirit instead of depleting it. You find joy in solitude, in time spent on personal growth, and in moments of quiet reflection. You no longer need to fill every moment with others' approval. Your own validation is enough. As you establish these new boundaries, some people from your past may resist. Friends, family members, or former partners might challenge your resolve, questioning your decisions or attempting to pull you back into old patterns. But you stand firm, knowing that this path, though difficult, is essential for your well-being. You recognize that not everyone will understand or support your journey, and you make peace with that reality. This boundary setting isn't about rejecting love or connection. It's about choosing relationships that are healthy, balanced, and life-giving. You begin to attract people who respect your boundaries, who understand that love isn't about taking advantage, but about building together. You surround yourself with individuals who uplift, support, and encourage your growth, and who respect you for who you are. In your new world, relationships are no longer a source of stress or exhaustion, but a source of joy and support. You find strength in friendships that are mutual, in partners who value you as an equal, and in connections that don't demand your constant sacrifice. This shift from people-pleasing to boundary setting is not just an external change, but an internal one, transforming how you see yourself and your role in others' lives. You come to see that setting boundaries is an act of self-love. It's a way of honoring your own needs, acknowledging your own worth, and refusing to settle for less. Each boundary you set is a testament to the value you place on yourself, a reminder that you are worthy of love, respect, and reciprocity. As you embrace this new chapter, you find a peace you've never known before. You no longer feel torn between your own needs and others' expectations. You are free to be yourself, fully and unapologetically, and that freedom is the greatest gift you could give to yourself. As you continue to embrace self-worth and boundaries, you discover a newfound sense of autonomy in every part of your life. Decisions that once felt controlled by the needs or desires of others are now fully your own, allowing you to live with authenticity and purpose. You no longer have to seek approval for your choices. You move with confidence, driven by an inner sense of peace and alignment. With this self-empowerment comes a joy in being able to prioritize dreams, aspirations, and personal goals without feeling guilty. For the first time, you experience what it means to live life on your own terms, and the freedom this brings becomes one of your greatest rewards. Walking away from those who only took from you is more than just a step toward freedom. It's a transformation that reaches every part of your life. For so long, you were held back by the weight of others' demands, drained by relationships that only took without giving. But as you leave those toxic connections behind, you feel a sense of liberation you've never known before. Suddenly, you are free to focus on your own growth, your own happiness, and your own dreams. One of the most profound changes you experience is a newfound mental clarity. Without the constant stress of trying to please or appease others, your mind is freed from the fog of manipulation and guilt. You can think clearly, make decisions with confidence, and pursue goals that align with your true self. This clarity extends to every area of your life, from your career to your personal aspirations, allowing you to move forward with purpose. Emotionally, you feel a renewed sense of stability. The roller coaster of highs and lows, of constant conflict and emotional drain, is finally over. You no longer have to brace yourself for the next round of drama or manipulation. Instead, you wake up each day with a sense of peace, knowing that you are surrounded by people who value you for who you are, not for what you can provide. This peace spills over into your physical health as well. The stress of toxic relationships can take a serious toll on the body, manifesting in anxiety, fatigue, and even physical ailments. But as you distance yourself from negativity, you find your energy returning, your health improving. You start to feel alive again, vibrant and ready to take on new challenges without the weight of others' burdens. Financially, too, you notice a shift. Toxic relationships often come with hidden costs, constant favors, financial support, or even the subtle ways in which manipulators drain resources. But now, you can focus on your own financial well-being, making choices that benefit your future rather than others' demands. You invest in yourself, in your passions and dreams, building a foundation for a life that truly fulfills you. Walking away also opens the door to new opportunities. As you free yourself from draining relationships, you make room for connections that align with your values and aspirations. You meet people who inspire and support you, who encourage you to reach new heights. Your life becomes filled with positivity and abundance, and you begin to see possibilities you once thought were out of reach. In your personal life, you feel a renewed sense of purpose. You have time to explore your passions, to pursue goals that were once pushed aside for the sake of others. You find joy in creativity, in learning, in activities that nurture your spirit. This newfound focus on personal growth leads to a sense of fulfillment that no relationship could ever provide. The transformation doesn't go unnoticed. Those who once underestimated you begin to see the change, the strength that was always there, but never acknowledged. You walk with confidence, with a sense of self-assurance that leaves others in awe. You no longer need validation from those who never truly valued you. You are your own source of strength. Ultimately, this journey is about reclaiming your life, your power, and your purpose. You no longer live for others' approval or satisfaction. You live for yourself, and that choice is the most transformative of all. You are free at last to be who you were always meant to be. Walking away reveals to you just how much potential was locked within, stifled by the burdens of toxic relationships. Without the emotional toll of manipulation, you find yourself stepping into opportunities you might never have considered before, and your confidence grows with each new experience. Friends and loved ones begin to notice the change, seeing the light and positivity that now radiate from you. This shift doesn't just impact your relationships, it transforms your career paths, creative endeavors, and personal projects. By freeing yourself from the weight of others' demands, you have unlocked your own potential, and life begins to take on a richer, more vibrant quality. As you begin to thrive in your newfound independence, those who once manipulated you are left in stunned disbelief. The manipulator never thought you would actually leave, let alone rise above the cycle of control. They are caught off guard, blindsided by the strength they never anticipated, scrambling to understand how their influence could have been so thoroughly shattered. The manipulator's shock is rooted in arrogance, in the belief that they held a permanent grip on your loyalty. They believed that their charm, their superficial gestures, would always be enough to keep you tied down. They saw your kindness as weakness, your patience as something they could exploit indefinitely. But now, faced with the reality of your absence, the manipulator is forced to confront the limits of their own control. Desperation sets in as they realize their manipulative tactics no longer work. They may attempt to reach out to rekindle the connection, using every trick in their book to regain control. But each attempt is met with your unwavering resolve. You have moved on, and there's no going back. The manipulator's pleas, once so effective, now fall on deaf ears. The former partner is left grappling with the emptiness of their own games. They were so used to taking without giving, to receiving endless affection without reciprocating, that they never considered the consequences of their actions. Now they face the reality of their own behavior, forced to confront the damage they've caused. It's a humbling experience, one that leaves them questioning the choices they once made with such ease. This shock isn't just emotional, it's an ego blow. The manipulator was so certain of their ability to control, to charm, to keep you close. But now, they are faced with a truth they never wanted to acknowledge. They never had the power they thought they did. Your departure reveals the cracks in their facade, exposing the emptiness that lies beneath their manipulative tactics. In their desperation, the manipulator may attempt to find replacements, to seek out others who will fill the void you left. But each new connection falls short, lacking the depth and authenticity that you provided. They discover too late that people like you are rare, that your kindness and loyalty can't be found just anywhere. The manipulator's world begins to unravel. Without you, they are left with nothing but their own hollow games, their own empty promises. They are forced to confront the reality of a life built on manipulation, a life that now feels devoid of meaning or fulfillment. It's a harsh lesson, one that leaves them grappling with regret and self-reflection. But for you, this moment is a testament to your strength. You've risen above the cycle of manipulation, broken free from the chains that once held you down. You walk away with a sense of pride, knowing that you have reclaimed your power, your independence, and your self-worth. And as you move forward, the manipulator is left to face the consequences of a life built on control. The manipulator's shock quickly turns to frustration, as they realize their attempts to reclaim control over you are futile. They try every tactic, sweet-talking, promises of change, and even threats. But nothing works. For the first time, they are forced to confront the reality that you have grown beyond their reach, immune to their influence. In desperation, the manipulator may try to discredit you, blaming you for the relationship's downfall. But you have moved on, no longer shackled by guilt or fear. The manipulator is left to wrestle with the consequences of their own actions, realizing too late that they let a truly remarkable person slip through their fingers. Your absence becomes a reminder of the loyalty and love they'll never find again. The courage to walk away, to value self-respect over fleeting connections, is a strength few possess. You have made a choice that seemed impossible, and in doing so, you've grown beyond measure. Your journey wasn't easy, but it was necessary. A path that led you to a truer, richer version of yourself. So here's to you. To those who learn to stop giving, to choose themselves, and to walk toward a life of respect and real love. May you continue to embrace this journey, never forgetting the worth you fought so hard to reclaim.